Originally released back in 1999, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater helped define a genre which up until that point had been filled with nothing that would come close to how perfectly the game managed to capture and celebrate the essence of skateboarding culture. Compared to its PlayStation counterpart, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater absolutely shines on the Dreamcast. With an increased resolution, improved textures, as well as improvements made to the animations, this truly is one of the best ways to experience the game. As the player, you are presented with several skaters to choose from, each possessing the ability to perform a huge combination of tricks, as well as individual special moves that are exclusive to each skater. The bulk of the experience revolves around the hefty single-player component, which serves as the game's career mode. It's made up of various levels, each with their own distinct objectives that must be completed within an allotted time frame of 2 minutes for each run. If you manage to miss any of these objectives, you can take a second run, with your previous progression carrying over, which really helps when it comes to the later levels and more hidden objectives that could require longer than usual to overcome. A common task within the game is to accumulate a predetermined amount of points that really helps push the player to try out new tricks and combinations, as well as finding hidden tapes placed within the world and completing the word skate by collecting letters found during play. By completing these objectives, the player is rewarded with points that can be used to increase the attributes of their chosen skater. Speed, balance, as well as airtime can all be manipulated, which ultimately contributes to the effectiveness of your skater. One advantage for Sega back in the days of the Dreamcast was the way in which they were positioned to bring over the many arcade titles that helped define their success in that market to the people at home playing on the system. Due to this, so many titles made their way to the console, with one of the finest being Virtua Tennis. Originally released in '99 and developed by Sega AM3, Virtua Tennis offers a masterful experience that represents the sport incredibly well, and with a multitude of modes such as arcade, exhibition, and world circuit to digest, it easily becomes one of the must-have sport titles on the machine. Arcade mode sees the player taking on 5 matches set across a variety of locales and court types, whilst Exhibition opens the game up to customization, allowing the player to determine the parameters and setup of each match. But where Virtua Tennis really excels is within the World Circuit mode, that serves as the main draw of the experience. Players compete in matches and various training exercises in order to progress through the mode, and unlock further matches and trials to complete. Each contribute to an overall rank, with the goal ultimately being to become #1 in the world. By participating in this mode, a lot of the game's content, such as extra outfits, can be unlocked, which promotes multiple playthroughs and contributes to the overall replay value of the game. If you're a fan of the series or sport titles in general, Virtua Tennis offers up one of the finest takes on the sport available on the system and easily becomes one of the must-have titles. Sharing many similarities with its predecessor, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 brings with it a multitude of improvements, as well as new tricks, characters and levels to the already incredible formula that defined the original experience. As you can imagine, since making the move to the Dreamcast, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 also sees an increased focus on presentation when compared to the many ports that came before it. Each location and character really comes to life in this version, which quite easily helps make it one of the best ways to experience the game. Like the first outing, the main draw of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is the generous career mode that once again sees the player taking on levels, each with specific objectives to complete within a given time frame, in order to unlock extra levels and points to spend on the attributes of their skater, which was greatly expanded upon when taken into context the level of customization present in the first game. But one major inclusion that would go on to become a staple of the series was the intuitive level editor that allows the player to create their own arenas in which to skate and explore. At the time of its release, this feature was a real triumph, and in our opinion helped propel the game's success and its position in the mind of gamers. Sharing creations became a real pastime amongst players and helped increase the replay value of the experience once the core of the game had been exhausted. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is clearly the definitive skating experience on the console. The level of passion that went into making it is clearly evident, which ultimately results in the go-to skateboarding experience on the machine.